The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply. USAA.
My dad actually plays the bagpipes, you know.
Oh my God, it makes so much sense.
That makes it even better.
Well, if you're heading down to Project Zero this week, you can enjoy a new co-ferment, which is coffee co-fermented with haggis. And Kirk with his new social channel Kirk McBarista.
Hey, you bastard.
He's getting the bagpipes out. He's getting the kilt.
I do the whole coffee break. It's Scottish if you're not careful.
If I have to dress up as Pikachu at coffee, then you need to wear a kilt and get those legs out.
There should be a punishment involved with this entire thing. There really should be.
A punishment?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, you work out an appropriate punishment and I'll...
The world finally
kilt.
makes sense again.
I want to kilt 20 for a whole day.
Yeah.
Kilt.
For those who just listened to our main ep, Kirk is not Italian. Finally, Ancestry.com came through. I'm still reeling. I'm still what a moment. This has been a great day. I just found out Kirk isn't Italian. All these months of hounding from the Italian himself, not even Italian. And then we can't talk about this, but then we just had a very good this bagpipes playing in the background. Then we had a very good meeting with something very exciting that, you know what, if it all comes through, you'll be seeing in less than a month because this is a quick turnaround and it's huge. It's huge for this pod.
Yeah,
It is.
No, we potentially could be doing something pretty big. Can't elaborate too much what it is right now, but potentially could be doing something pretty big.
Speaking of big things from before, today's coffee break, of course, is brought to you by our friends over at ecobarista.com.au.
Gotta shout 'em out.
Eco coffee products, bags, cups. They're amazing, custom made, whatever you want. Order them and new customer 15% off.
15% off your first order when you go to ecobarista.com.au. I was actually on the phone to Uncle Russ today.
Oh, love Uncle Russ.
And, you know, we were getting myriad things sorted. We've been working together to get my packaging done. That should be done in the next few months. That's been an absolutely slow process, but they've been with me the whole way through. It's been awesome.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to get him back on the pod again. He doesn't even, regardless of Eco Barista, he's just a great guy with a great story.
Russell Towers.
Yeah.
We love it. All right. So that's ecobarista.com.au. 15% off your first order. Now, Rowan.
No.
Are you an eco warrior?
No, I'm an Eco Barista. I eat because I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy because I eat.
You keep your money, Dr. Level. And I'll eat your baby. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I'll tell you what, it's like, I'm shocked. I'm not really surprised. Like, look at me, I'm white as hell. I'm as white as it gets.
Yeah.
I would have thought, maybe a little bit more on the German side. Maybe, give us a bit more French. Come on. But no, I'm
well, you got a bit of French. You had, what, was there 7% French in there?
Yeah, it was 7%. I suppose that's enough to maintain.
That's what you thought you were Italian.
Well, I can still be shocked, right? Like if I want to.
Yeah.
In my own personal time, be shocked.
Just recapping, just quickly. Yeah. Cornwall, 7%. France, 7%. 13% German. That's over 10% German.
Well, that's a maybe I can pivot there. I don't know.
Irish and Scottish. Irish and Scottish makes up 50%. So you're eating potatoes, you're eating haggis, you're eating pigeon pie.
Well, I was conclusively, Irish and Scottish, wasn't I? Wow. Yeah.
Well, one thing that we got so carried away with the ancestry test, we actually left our extra hot take with 2 sugars. 2 sugars. We left that at the door, and so we're going to come back and bring him in unprecedented in the coffee break. We're doing it here and now. Kirk, do you want to take us off with your first one?
Okay. All right. 2025. Predictions week.
Yeah.
Extra hot take. Right. In 2025, decaf's getting a glow up, baby.
Oh.
Yeah. So decaf is going to become one of the things that I think people drink a lot more of this year. Now, we had Fleur Stud on recently who was telling us that Market Lane are thinking of buying decaf for the very first time in 15 years.
Well, are they doing it? I searched and I saw They had
Yes.
like San Antonio decaf or something.
Yeah. So she's actually going to be sorting us some out by the next top podcast. We'll be able to enjoy
Brew it
that. Dan Dick, who actually we need to sort of minorly clap back at.
Dick's Deli.
We
He's posting us in his story.
We'll do that in a bit.
What a
but,
dog.
He's got some passion fruit infused decaf coming on with his brand. So like a co-ferment decaf that would be used as filter. So, I mean, I'm not a big decaf guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like something about it's just like,
How's he going to tamp it without his puck presses though?
Oh, yeah. Dan Dick.
Just giving
Dan
all of
Dick.
his, just injuring all of his employees, getting lawsuits against them.
He's in the news again today.
Oh, mate. What's he done this time?
More alternative milk stuff.
Oh,
Remember we prank
mate.
called him real hard?
Oh,
I feel
my
like we should go to all these journals that are reaching out to Dan Dick and be like, just for your own amusement, just listen to this one.
Listen to this. Here you go.
Hey, but shout out to him. We love you, Dan.
Love you, Dan. Dick's Deli. I'd buy a sandwich there.
Yeah.
I'd munch on Dick's Deli. Wait, what?
6-inch
You had a hot take.
Dick's Deli.
All right, you guys, all right, mind the other guy, please.
What are you talking about?
This is a family podcast.
3
Sandwich.
sub.
I know yours is. Go on.
All right, here we go. My hot take. Coffee and breakfast don't go together. Coffee and breakfast has to be like
Yes, they
the
do.
most had thing. No, coffee and breakfast don't go together. Whenever you eat breakfast and you have your coffee, it ruins the flavor of the coffee. There's so many competing flavors and it tastes terrible. Have your coffee either before or after the meal. You can't be eating your scrambled eggs and having the coffee at the same time.
I wanna jump in here.
All right, get him, Liam.
I reckon a milk coffee doesn't go with breakfast. That gives me dessert vibes.
Hang on, now I
don't know
disagree
why.
with you.
No, but a black coffee does.
Neither goes with breakfast. Okay, sit down, especially nowadays when there's so many different like flavors going on. If you're getting like a chili scrambled or you're getting anything with like harissa or different spices, it just completely brutally destroys the flavor of the coffee.
Can I say something here?
Yeah.
So coffee is in breakfast are kind of like synonymous in Melbourne.
Yeah.
You know, it's like coffee
Maybe
goes
the
with
world.
breakfast. But you're saying coffee doesn't actually go with breakfast.
Coffee doesn't actually go with breakfast.
Okay.
Everyone would put the two together like I sit down and have my eggs and I have my coffee. No, I'm not saying don't have them within the same window. Have your coffee, finish that, get your breakfast.
All right. Well, I'm thinking here, like, you know, if you have something a bit more soft, like a porridge or something, you know, maybe not that bad. But if you have like a bite of a shakshuka, then you know,
You're done.
gotta have your coffee. You might not be getting all the notes you're after there.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess I'm more of a savory guy, so I guess I'm less likely having like the porridge or the pancakes or the whatever, which is a bit more. I think like sweet things aren't going to disrupt your palate as much as like a big spice-filled whatever, shakshuka, baked eggs.
Like coffee
chili
doesn't
scramble.
actually go with breakfast, according to Rohan Cook.
That's big.
Like, that's a hot take.
That's
a hot take. I wish I had more water to throw in myself.
But I think it's just a fact. Like I don't think you can argue with it.
I reckon this is going to be the first thing that the podcast, like some journalist is going to write up. Coffee doesn't go with breakfast, according to this guy, and like everyone's going to hate you. But like, this will be the first thing.
I reckon I can argue with that.
You can't.
Like, I can.
You can't.
I will.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So you can't argue with it unless you have an inferior palate.
See, but so my
get the
inferior
out.
palate, my inferior palate, like everything you just said, spices and salts, and like that makes sense with black coffee to me. Like, and the notes of black coffee, and that's why you use coffee in like rubs and barbecue things.
But are you actually going to a place in your head where you're thinking about having those moments and being like, oh, it completely distorts the flavor of the coffee that you're having?
But it's the whole thing together. It's similar to like wine pairing. If I got like a porridge and stuff, I would get a flat white. It's creamy. It's like there's a dessert element. There's a sweet element to it. Not that I
What do you pair
ever
with
add
the
sugar.
Then
What coffee do you pair with the
why are we
shakshuka?
serving sparkling water with every black coffee then? It's to cleanse your palate and to remove anything that's there.
The sparkling
to give
water is
you the
overrated.
clarity.
You shouldn't be doing sparkling
But
water.
I'm just the point of being like people are trying to reset their palates, you know.
I think that's to appreciate it on its own. But if you're going to have a full experience and that they're serving signature blend, like, you know, specialty coffee themselves, and that does stand on itself. But if they specifically pair it, like if you had like a specific single origin with something,
Which they don't.
yeah, okay,
All right.
fine. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
But you're right. If they wanted to do a coffee pairing and design a menu item to go with that, that's fine.
That
That's
would be cool.
All this conjecture about coffee and breakfast has got me thinking. what is the most elite breakfast? Like, what's like if you're starving in the morning, it's like Christmas Eve or something. You finish work for the year. You're on your own. You're thinking, I'm gonna making my way downtown. I got unlimited funds to just go and have one.
I've got different
breakfast.
options.
All
Right?
right. Well, I mean,
For whatever reason, whenever I'm in like a hotel or like traveling or doing something like that, and I don't ever get it anywhere else, Eggs Benedict. Whenever I'm in the hotel, for whatever reason, I feel like they can just do that muffin, the crappy piece of like ham or bacon or whatever. The poached eggs are pre-done and the sort like that's my thing when you're traveling and you're doing that.
what about the scenario I just painted for you?
Scenario where I'm painted that you just painted? My go-to, because I just never do it at home, chili scramble with bacon, just because I never do it, which is so basic.
It doesn't fail.
It's so basic, but it hits.
Chili and eggs go together like Coke and Mentos.
My question to both of you, how do you cook your bacon?
Well, I'm vegetarian, so I don't cook bacon.
Okay, not for you.
Back when I did like medium crispy though.
Well, it's just a different thing. We use different bacon than America, so it's just not that same crisp boy.
Yeah.
But like if you go to some of these fancy places here and they have that like thick cut bacon, it's like the Kaiser flesh.
So you're into that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was. No, because I
I
remember
couldn't
going
care
to the
about
States.
American crispy bacon though. It's
Well,
just
'cause I got it-
brittle, sharp.
Walter
pork
White
shatters.
writing his birthday
Yeah.
thing. Yep.
It's the old pink shadow.
Bacon glass. Yeah. I actually, when you both were saying, I combined the two. You were like, it's Christmas morning or like it's Christmas night. You got everything you said, Benedict. Can you imagine a Christmas ham like Eggs Benedict? Okay. All right.
Sorry, I'm throwing my hands up.
Hands are up in the air.
I've been saying this year after year after year because we do Christmas ham. And whenever you have the Christmas ham, I'm like, this is fine. This is fine.
Benedict.
But then I was like, the best thing about Christmas ham is the following mornings, I'm making ham
and
on the
cheese.
pan. I'm doing eggs with it. I'm like, whatever it is, sandwich, just poached eggs and ham, doing it with some smashed avo, whatever it is. But I always say people in December should offer a breakfast called Christmas leftovers. And it's like a breakfast. It's like, you've got the roast pork slices like the bacon. You got Christmas ham. You got stuffing fried up on the plate with some poached eggs cracked over the top. That needs to be the breakfast of December.
Yeah.
King prawn here or there.
King
just
prawn,
to make an appearance.
King prawn.
It's the ultimate surf and
A little
turf.
bit of lobby.
Yeah.
Well, what's your elite breakfast?
I mean, I feel like I just made that. That's
Yeah.
the Christmas
Yeah, but
Benedict.
okay. But what about the
What would it
scenario?
be?
I
What would it
painted?
be?
Like,
Look.
because I like my privacy breakfast. You know, like I'm a solo breakfast guy.
Yeah.
I might be weird. I might be on an island in that scenario, but I like.
Wait, did you say yours?
I'll get to mine.
Okay.
Actually.
Oh, it's that good.
Look, it would be wrong of me not to be basic and put it forward when it's done right. When it's got a good pickled element and it's got a good goat's cheese, but a smashed avo sometimes just hits.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. No.
Man,
It's
there's a reason it's up there.
No. It's you're well within your rights.
And you're right with the goat's cheese. You need that because the goat's cheese that you get has that more acidity and the more twang.
Key to a good smashed avocado for me, mint.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you put a bit of mint.
I'm
Yeah.
a dill smashed up.
dill guy?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I love a herb, but also a beautiful piece of bread, like good sourdough, not too like, I don't want to like be having to saw through my like crust or anything like that. It needs to be like a good one, but
Bit of pomegranate on can
it
also
needs
give
a little
the-
acid in there for
You
sure.
don't,
Pickled
have to do
onion.
it though. You don't have to do it.
On a have like that lime gel. Have you seen that?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Like a lime gel they serve.
What are they called? Finger limes. And they like,
No, it's not finger
no,
lime.
that stuff?
Well, no, it's not finger lime. Finger lime's like the little lime caviar.
Yeah.
This is like they make like a gel that they like do little smears of it around the avocado and stuff.
Okay.
I haven't had that.
Well, we might have to give that a go when you're Pikachu.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Pikachu at Honor.
Yeah.
Oh no. Where are we? Where are we Pikachu?
A guy in a kilt escorts a Pikachu to Honor Brunswick.
That's hot.
I think we have to do it now.
So maybe we need some people to reach out here. If you're from a cafe, I know the guys from Maker Richmond have reached out who listened.
No, you just
Take the boys from Maker. I used to chat with them a lot.
Yeah.
They're great.
But you just took shots at Honor, so now we've got to go have that one.
I didn't take shots.
You took shots.
How did I take
You
shots?
took shots.
In what way did I take shots?
You said they've got that weird lime thing.
I didn't say weird. I said they have a serve of lime gel.
All right.
I didn't comment how I felt about it. I just said they served it.
Well,
we need to
And
find.
I won't comment how I feel about it.
All right.
What we need to find is
They make amazing coffee though.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
They do.
They do. What we need to find is like a cafe that has a second story with the see-through, thing so that when you've got your kilt, you can really
Oh, God.
You're the up angle.
the meat and
The
potatoes.
old coffee beans.
The old basic
The old
instinct,
single origins.
The old basic instinct leg crossover thing.
Well, it's definitely not a washed coffee.
The Christmas.
That's a natural.
Christmas
That's a
breakfast.
natural coffee for sure.
The pigeon pie.
That's a fermented coffee up
We need to go
there.
somewhere where we get a pigeon pie.
The Scottish breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of gave away my elite breakfast before, which is baked eggs.
Yeah, I love a baked eggs.
Shakshuka, baked
Yeah.
eggs,
Yeah.
with some halloumi on the
Amazing.
side.
You know what I wish you could get with the baked eggs, and it's really hard to do because of the cooking times and that. I just want like the poached yolk kind of feeling in the middle, but it's so hard with a baked egg not to get to like a jammy side just because of the way that it cooks and in the oven.
And it's
that.
like sitting there continually cooking once it's on the table, right? Because it's
So-
still at heat.
You can sometimes get a little runny, but like if you could work out a baked egg so that it like when you stuck that like big piece of toast or focaccia in there, just like bludged right in your face, all the yolk, then I'd be all about it.
Yeah.
Although I get too excited when food comes out. I always get the blisters on the top of my mouth after a baked eggs because I just try to shovel it in too
Jumps in.
quickly.
Yeah.
So hot. They
I
always
totally
warn you.
watch.
I never listen.
Yeah. Grabs cast iron plate. I'll be fine. Yeah. Puts it down.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
What are we talking about again?
amazing.
Before I
No, we're
rudely
talking
interrupted.
Rose hot take with coffee doesn't go with
Oh, yeah.
breakfast
No, yeah.
items.
It's a fact. But idea matching paired coffees to breakfast. There's a situation.
That's really cool. I love
yeah,
that.
I've never seen
That's
that
so
done well,
Melbourne.
though. Like,
Yeah, because it can't be because they don't go together.
no, well, there you go. Well,
Someone prove me wrong.
That's a convenient argument. Convenient.
We were talking about in the other episode, and maybe I thought we could dive into it more here. We were talking about the cheapest ways of making elite coffee at home. What do you recommend? Like, we could do more research on this and dive into it, but just off the bat, what are you saying? Go out and make elite coffee.
What's my budget? Or just as cheap as possible?
I mean, let's say what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, like, let's go in two brackets. Like, let's go like 500 to 1,000 is like one, or is that too much?
I would say you'd want to go less. I'd say like under 100 and then like
Yeah,
upwards of that like 500
Yeah.
kind of range.
Right. Well, if say I've got $100, just any old kettle that's not electric.
Yep.
That I can pour reasonably.
Yep, so buy something with a gooseneck that you can put on a stove.
Why not electric?
Save money.
But you save money. Like, I don't even think you'd be able to get like,
Of course.
but for that amount, like, you'd probably just be able to get next a really cheap set of scales.
Yep.
And, hopefully you've got a mug at home and pour over thing and then
Yep.
paper.
So you're saying V60, paper.
Yeah. I wouldn't even buy a grinder if that was my budget.
Oh, you just buy pre-ground.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where would you buy your coffee?
Well, go to a local cafe, get them to grind it for me. That's if I've got $100.
Yep.
Now,
I'd go, the Poralex Mini or whatever, like the little hand grinder, super cheap.
Yep.
Pretty good, decent job. Like the thing I find with coffee is you can, for a cheap amount, both espresso and filter, you can get a pretty good result for like a cheap price. And then the improvements that you make once you start spending into the thousands are all like 5% improve, 3% improvement. Like it's so minuscule.
Yeah.
Like once you start getting in that upper end of it, but for like $100, you can get pretty like 80% quality.
can I just say on the outset here, it's really worth it to invest $1,000 in your home coffee setup. Like if you're willing to if you really, really enjoy drinking coffee and you're really confident that you'll make it consistently at home, I think you should invest $1,000 in your coffee setup. Get yourself a really good electric kettle, get yourself a really good quality hand grinder and a decent set of scales, and you are set. You can make excellent coffee for months, and you take yourself on a journey which you'll enjoy. You'll get so much more use and utility out of it than the money you save on going out to a cafe.
Yep. Absolutely. You could look at even non-hand grinders because, if you're getting into like good hand grinders, you can be spending upwards of like $300 to $400 on those, which are great quality.
The value proposition there is that it's portable. Like you go away, you still got your coffee.
You could also look at something like, it's a bit more expensive, but like a Fallow Ode or the Time War Sculptor. the little one, the 64 millimeter.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
That's a good little grinder because they've got the regular model and then they've got the S model, which does espresso. But just go regular model if you're just doing filter. They've got some great birds there that are really like getting great quality and clarity in the cup with how they're doing it. So I would say if you're in the beginner side of things, I'd even throw out the AeroPress because you don't even need a gooseneck. You could just use the kettle you already have on the stove. And you basically just papers in, dump in your coffee, and you just need to fill it.
That's
and then
a wonderfully effective way of making good coffee. And without having to have super expensive gear either.
One of the most bizarre like feelings I had was when I was hiking out in Yosemite. We were doing like one of the individual areas out the 10 lakes, completely desolate. There's no one, they only allow like 10 people per region to go in. So at that time in the thousands of acres that we're in, there was like 6 other people. So never saw another person for 2 days, walked in, set up by this lake in the middle of nowhere. And we took out pre-ground coffee and an AeroPress. And I tell you what, drinking like amazing, incredible quality coffee, sitting out by this stunning lake, just reflecting the mountains all around us. I was like, this is so surreal.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sick.
It was an unbelievable moment.
Situational.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah. You actually brought up on the pod how like making coffee at home gives you the ick. And it made me kind of think about it. It's like similar to drinking for me. It's like I'd save that for maybe when I'm out with people socializing. There's something about sharing a moment in a space or, anywhere but home. And going back on that, then I thought about it. It's like, what are the ingredients there? It's about sharing those moments with the people that you care about or that anything. Now that home gear is getting better, you're actually able to get something made by someone that loves you and gives it to you. Does that now almost counteract that, Yeah. It's like, it's the 2-4. Like I would trust my cafe to make like me a beautiful coffee. I'd go there. But now it's like, if I could have like one of my closest humans make that for me.
Yeah. I think it is like, because food in general and all those things are like my way of showing love and having friends over and doing all those moments. I think, Kirk, you're in a specific situation where you make coffee for a living. So, whenever you speak to a chef, they're like, oh, I hate cooking at home. I don't want to cook. Like all my friends just think, oh, I'm going to cook for them. I don't want to cook for them. I cook all day, every day. I don't want to do that. And I think there would be some people that agree with you on the social side of doing it. But I would say there are some people that, as coffee being their hobby, that joy of like experimenting and trying and doing it for himself at home is like a home chef. Like you get the joy of like, oh my God, I made this amazing thing that I put the love into and care, that it feels super special for them. But I can imagine being a barista every day. You're like, well, go home and do it.
Yeah. No.
It's also frustrating, isn't it? Like you're home, you're like, God, I don't have that insane Lamazocco. Like this would be so much easier. It's like frustrating.
Yeah.
I jump back on like one of the home machines, like if I'm at my parents and I'm like, oh, this kills me. Like,
But you can say like, I think I might have said this on the end of last year and I want to do a YouTube about this. The Breville Jewel Boiler is, you're looking at like around that $1,000 mark. And that's kind of where you're at. But it's really good quality for like the price point that it sits in. And you can make really high quality stuff at home. You can adjust that water temp up and down. You've got the dual boilers. You've got enough pressure coming through. You're getting pretty up there with that kind of machine. Like obviously the Lamazocco is like, you're steaming your milk in 2 seconds. You're getting really consistent pressure through the rotary pump and the systems that are working and just super high quality and a machine that's forever serviceable. You can get pretty good with some of those home machines now.
It's also like, at what point do you, similar to like, you're like, if you're making stuff at home, instead of investing in such an expensive machine, at what point do you like, hey, I've got a pretty good like grinder, I've got a scale, I've got my V60. Now I start investing in the coffee. I start looking that way.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
That's one part we haven't really chatted about.
Yeah, and you were mentioning something before. I don't think you mentioned on the pod about like vintaging coffee.
Yeah.
And you're in a really remarkable position at home right now to freeze coffee as well.
Yeah.
And store it for years and years and years and try it yourself.
I was saying that because, I mean, you obviously had Sub-Zero, which the whole premise was based around that idea of freezing coffee and that. But I'm like, how cool would it be if coffee roasteries had the offering where if they have relationships with farms and they're getting the similar lots throughout each year, freezing them off and having vintages from each farm for each year. And then you could get a pairing of like 2024, 2023, 2022.
So cool.
There's a roaster in, I think, Pennsylvania in America. They're called Passenger Coffee, and I think they do that. So they'll like release a vintage. 7Cs also have done that with Takesi before. Yep. So they'll freeze a bag of green. They do it over at Proud Mary. They've got some, I don't know if they've got year on year.
Freeze. I just don't know if it's done in that like vintage sense of year after year. It's done where it's like, oh, we got that one lot that was incredible. So we froze a bunch and it cost $200 a shot.
There was the best barista competition routine that I've ever seen that did not win was done by a guy named Matthew Lewin, who works for Honor Coffee. And what he did was he got an ultra low freezer, so that could go to negative 85 degrees Celsius. So at that level, I think the term was microbiological activity inside the coffee bean just stops. So it's like fully preserving. So he actually ground it at that temperature and made it. Now, unfortunately, he didn't win, but that I think is the best routine I've ever seen.
Wow.
And the information that was coming about it. And if you were to do that, the costs of running those freezers, by the way, are enormous.
Yeah.
And the freezers themselves are super expensive. But I like that was the best barista competition routine that never won.
Yeah. That's unreal.
Matthew Lewin, 2018, I think.
And have we talked about this on the pod at home? Freeze your coffee at home. Chuck a piece of tape over the valve.
Yep.
Chuck it in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure there's little air in the bag as possible. And then I believe all you have to do is when you take it out, just take it out the night before you're going to use it and let it defrost. Because if you take it out and open it, beans will get condensation on them and get wet. If you were just to chuck it straight in a grinder, that's fine. But if you had a full bag, like a kilo, just let it defrost overnight and then open it up.
There's probably a good argument there where you break it up into like 5 different tubs or something and then just put one tub at a time. And you probably wouldn't see too much like issues there, I would have thought.
As long as you're grinding it fresh. It's just when like water is such a big enemy of coffee that you just don't want any droplets.
Ross droplets techniques?
Droplets are actually the smaller measurement of a droplet. So there's droplets, then driplets. So it's actually scientifically accurate. Wow, what a coffee break. That just flew by. I just looked at the timer.
My shirt's beginning to dry up. I've had to cover myself up because I, of course, ripped my shirt.
With his outrage of being Scottish. Well, we had the exciting meeting. We'll keep you updated on that if any news comes through on that. If you want to reach out to us, reach out at hello@itsjustcoffeepod.com. Hit us up on the socials. We're excited for a new year. Guys, it's so good to see both of you. I've missed you both dearly. 2025.
Feeling
this
alive.
year of It's Just Coffee.
Yeah. Guys.
Thank you for listening to Coffee Break.
Thanks for, Predictions Week. Predictions Week is awesome. We love Predictions Week. Yeah. We love Predictions Week.
Love predictions, love weeks.
All right. Well, that's it, everybody. Wrap it up. See you next week. We've got an extra special guest for you next week.
That's huge.
We've probably got our biggest guest yet next week.
I'll
leave it.
Fat bastard. Awesome powers.
No, that's seriously we do. So I'll leave that with you.
Amazing. Thanks, guys.
Oh, no, good. It's okay.